Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a Souls game. We're not gonna do Dark Souls 2, because that's for later. Since this game is locked behind a console, and I'm not saying you should specifically get a PS4 or PS5 just to play this game, but like, it's locked behind a paywall, you know? So I feel bad for it. The recent announcement of the whatever other Blood game, I forgot what it was. Who cares, bro? It's behind the Switch too. Not fun at all. Hating on that. But I wanted to talk about it since I did play this back, not in release, like maybe 5 years after that, because this game came out, I think, March 24th, 2015. So it's been 10 years since this game came out. And honestly, it's a shame that we're never going to get a re-release of any kind for it on any other platform. That's just wild too. So, as much as people want to hope for it, it's not going to happen. Let me talk about it though. Let me show you why this is a pretty good game and why I love Bloodborne. Alright, so Bloodborne, just like any Souls game, you know, you're waking up out of nowhere, you're confused, what's going on, who is this, who's that guy touching me, why are there multiple people touching me, who's talking to me, don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna be real with you, the story, confusing. I'll give you a rundown real quick of what my understanding of the Bloodborne story is, you know, the beginning portions, not to spoil everything, because there's some like crazy stuff. The genre of this game, you know, beasts, hunters, weird squishy things. You'll see what weird squishy things happen. I don't know if I'll have footage of weird squishy boys, but like, there's some stuff. There's some lore behind these RL craft squid monsters that show up in the game. Ooh, alright, hold up. So, when I said RL craft right there, I'm gonna be 100% honest, I made a mistake. That's a full-on mistake. That is a Minecraft mod. That is nowhere near what I meant to say. I meant to say HP Lovecraft, okay? I don't know why I said RL Craft. I'm losing it. I 100% am. I don't know what to tell you. Here, boom, right there. RL Craft. Whoa. So now we're doing an RL Craft video now. Sorry, no more Bloodborne. Okay, that's enough silence for now. Anyways, well, forget about that. If I say it again, I'm just losing my mind. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll go back. Because a lot of people say that Bloodborne is like, you know, RL Craft meets some other genre mished together and you got, boom, Bloodborne. Awesome. Perfect. Love it. But that's like towards the middle part of the game. I'm gonna just, you know, talk about the beginning. Talk about how good this game is structure-wise. You know, map. Talk about the world. Music's awesome. But we'll get there. So, pretty much, Bloodborne, from my understanding. You wake up, you're in this clinic, you're just like, alright, let me open the door. Who's that guy? I've never seen him before. He's eating chicken. That's not chicken. But yeah, you get past him, or you die. This is what happens. If you get past him, you just keep going, like normal. But that doesn't matter. Pretty much, the world is in ruins right now. So, there's this hunt going on, and you are a hunter. I don't know specifically what you are. I think you are the Pale Blood Hunter. Maybe. I think that's the title. Like, you know, the Chosen Undead. But I don't know. There's just a video out there that you can look up. Pretty much of people talking about this game and in its lore. It's super heavy. Super interesting too. They talk about blood. Alright? And I don't know if you know this, but this entire game revolves around blood. Pretty much, there's this hunt going on. Because there are beasts. Yeah, there's just beasts out there. And people are going crazy. And it's just because of the blood. That's all I know. There's some weird stuff going on with the beast blood. How these people obtained the beast blood. Or, you know, how they got this blood and just became crazy. That's for you to find out, okay? There's a little, like, secrets you can find throughout the map. Item descriptions to give you more information about the story. And honestly, perfect 10 out of 10. I like it. The world building is amazing in this game. The story, perfect. Even though, again, you get like spoon-fed it a little bit, you know, a little dialogue between some NPCs, some like notes that you find out, because this game does leave some notes around for you to read and see the perspective of the townspeople and how they all turn mad. And honestly, this game also really impacts how certain NPCs interact with each other, and you changing the world in this game can also affect the NPCs too. You can find out more lore about the NPCs and the world, but essentially the blood's making people go crazy. You as a hunter have to kill the beasts, and from there, that's your task. Just hunt the beasts and I guess stop the hunt from continuing forward, and that way people can live their normal lives. So that's pretty much it. You're tasked with doing that. You have this area, the Hunter's Dream. So your little hub area for transporting to different places, upgrading, buying items and whatnot. That's pretty much it. But let's get into this gameplay. This gameplay, oh my goodness, it's so good. I'm so bad at it too. I'm more comfortable with the slow pace, you know, Dark Souls type of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I beat this game. I do play Lies of P. Oh, okay. So yeah, I can dabble a little bit in this, but honestly, it's been a while, so you're gonna see some deaths here and there. I'm really bad at this game. I'm lying to you. I'm not. This game is all fast-paced, very technical too. You will get stuck. I do believe that there is a learning curve for this game because it's not like the traditional Souls. I would say the combat of this game is very spicy. It's different from the traditional Dark Souls. It's still the same R1, you know, light attack, R2 heavy attack, but we also have a pistol instead of a shield or whatever other sidearm you carry. It's kind of your parry mechanic. It is to do damage, but also to catch enemies mid-attack. I think I believe the structure of this game is excellent, super unique. I've never seen anything like it in recent times. I can't remember a certain game that does that, where you would time pretty much a ranged shot to get off a critical hit, essentially. Every other game, really, just from my experience, kind of requires you to parry, block, break the stance, and then you get your critical hit off. But in this one, you time your shot, and depending on what animation the enemy uses, you'll knock them over and be able to attack. Also, what's interesting about this game too is that the healing and the usage of bullets, because we do have, if you can see there, we have the blood vials up top and the silver bullets in the bottom. They're not an infinite resource, so it is up to you as the player to go either buy it from shops or get them off enemies when you kill them. It's usually good to stockpile them up in the early game, and that way you'll have some later on while the drop rates become like a little bit more scarce. I can't really say. I've never really had an issue with not having enough blood vials or silver bullets. It's usually just, you know, going around in a circle in this little town area and just getting the drops. But you have to, you know, manage this resource, and it's very unique. You can increase how much blood vials or silver bullets you get, but that is further on within the game. Don't have anything to show since I only want to give you a little tease of the game just to get you interested. There's no magic bar, pretty much. Magic is kind of like non-existent in this game, although we are going to have to talk about the arcane stat. The arcane stat is pretty cool, but we'll get there later. So next we'll talk about your HP bar. Let's just talk about that. So whenever you get damaged, you'll see here multiple times, I'm just taking damage from whatever. My health bar does go down, but there's some orange health that's left over. That is the amount of damage I took that you can get back. Whenever you hit an enemy, and it has to be hit, not shot by the gun. When you hit an enemy, you perform a life steal, and you'll be able to get your HP back. You'll not need to use a blood vial at all to heal yourself, and you can just save it for whenever things get dicey. That's pretty much it. You have consumable items aside from the silver bullets and the blood vials. You do have, you know, throwables that can damage, Molotov cocktails to be specific. You do have some neat stuff that can also help you during battles, and also have a little bit of lore implications that are used throughout, I would say, bosses specifically, but nonetheless they are really cool additions to this game, very unique. We have these things called insight. Insight is this new mechanic that is only into this game. What it does is like its own special currency, but it's also like not an insanity meter, but it's the shape of an eye. So the implication behind that is the more beasts you see, the more insight you get. Example would be the first boss here. Once you enter the boss room, you'll see that 0 goes up to like either 4 or whatever number it is right there. That's how much insight, how much reality hits the hunter, because, he slightly goes crazy over time. Like, there's a lot of lore stuff behind this to signify how much, insight you get, and it's just, you'll start seeing things that were not there previously, but they were there all the time. Again, very cool. But you can use this insight to buy things. There's a special shop where you can buy certain boss clothing, boss weapons as well, or other stuff pretty much. You can also use it for multiplayer purposes. You can use one insight to summon a friend or random person. That's back when this game had online. Probably still does. That's just also another purpose for the insight. A lot more goes into the insight in lore wise, and when you collect it, you can use it for other reasons. I'm pretty sure there's like there's a multitude of ways to use insight in this game. I haven't personally found any typical way to use insight, so it's just there for me to use as a summon at this point, or just to get some clothing, weapon, who knows. So the stats in this game, pretty much it's the same as always. You have your vitality, endurance, strength, all that stuff. We all know what that stuff does. The skill is pretty much your dexterity in this game. It's nothing too major. It just, some weapons will scale with skill and raises up your attack anyways, but what is it? Alright, we got Blood Tinge. This determines whether or not you can use certain sidearms and how much damage that sidearm will do. If we look at the left-hand weapon, a 1 attack, you'd see it's 70. That's where the Hunter's pistol is. Blood Tinge just focuses on that pistol's damage. It will only increase the pistol's damage, not the regular attack damage from our weapon. Interesting, different. It only scales for that, and it's just another requirement for the pistol. But let's get back to the arcane. Let me tell you what arcane does. So here we got arcane. Like I mentioned before, it's like sort of the pseudo magic of this game. Since there's no magic at all, but there are certain attributes that this game has. Fire, electric, I'm pretty sure. I think those are the only 2 elements that are in this game. Arcane affects the damage done by fire and bolt weapons. Same thing with items. Molotov cocktails will do much more damage with the arcane stat risen, and I also believe it increases your discovery. It's pretty much like your luck stat in that sense, where the higher arcane you have, the more likely you are to get an item drop from an enemy. You don't really see a lot of people raise arcane unless they have a specific, bolt weapon, fire weapon, attach fire paper to their weapon. It's stuff like that. Most likely, if you play this game, you're going to focus on vitality, endurance, and then whatever stat you need for your weapon. There's this other little weird system here too, Frenzy. Frenzy, I think, has a reoccurrence in Elden Ring. Is like another status condition that it can be applied to you, like poison, bleed, frostbite. I guess in this instance, Frenzy is like just bleed in general. It builds up over time from taking damage from an enemy, or yeah, I believe just from an enemy. And once the meter reaches to its max, you'll take a certain portion of damage. That's essentially it. Everything here is pretty much standard Souls stats. Just focus on whatever build you got going on and just have a good time, Easy. Let's talk about the actual combat, since I did say this is a fast-paced game. The dodging in this game, vastly different from any other Souls game we have. Instead of doing a, funny little roll here, we have a very flashy, very cool, wow, super dash. Nah, it's not a super dash. It's just a little quick step what we got. Super flashy, love it. The get-ups in this game, let me tell you, the fashion this game has, amazing. Perfect. I look dope as hell. A little goofy. But it's really nice. It's very fast. This game is a fast-paced game, so, there's no time for you to really get back, hold your bearings. It's either you go in now, dodge everything, and find that small opening from, I guess, a boss or whatever enemy you're fighting to heal or do whatever you need to do. Although I say that this game is similar to Dark Souls in that aspect, there is a different type of combat that you can initiate. It is similar to two-handing in that aspect where you can transform your weapon to do more damage. It's, you know, in that stat where you look at your weapon, it has that little plus symbol. When you press L1, it's essentially drawing out the full strength of that weapon. It changes up how the R1 and R2 works, and that's it. It just changes up the combat a little bit. But what's cool about it is that you can chain into an R1, into L1, back into an L1, change it back to its standard form, so that way you can have the fast light attacks. You'll just be able to pretty much chain these attacks. It's very flashy, very cool. In this game, there are different ways to get critical hits. We know one of them is parrying. As they attack, you parry them with the gun, and then you get to hit them with a critical hit. In this game, there's no backstabbing, as in Dark Souls 1 you can do. You have to get a full charge heavy attack on the back of an enemy to pretty much cripple them and perform a critical attack on them. Very different, not too practical, I would say, because there's not going to be a lot of openings for you to just charge up a full R2 and also hit them on the back just for you to get the critical hit off. That's essentially pretty much it. Oh, I did want to mention too, in the combat of this game though, when you fight certain beast enemies, they will have weak points. I believe this is the first Souls game where you could break limbs off of beasts or like monster enemy types. You can like cut off the tails of like the gargoyles in Dark Souls 1 and other enemies in that game, but this type of decapitation, strange as I would say it, but this type of crippling, I suppose. This type of crippling on an enemy, keep hitting the same spot where you crippled them, it will do more damage. This is something you won't notice the first time when you're fighting an enemy, or say this boss right here. This is the first boss, so I'll use him as an example. You won't notice it quite right away. You'll probably be thinking, oh, he's probably transitioning a phase, maybe I stun him with a big hit. But here, if you hit him in his hands and arms, they'll start to break, and there you can get more damage off. I think that's very cool. It further insinuates that you need to be playing in this aggressive way. So honestly, it just makes the game a lot faster pace. You know, you're just hitting the same spot over and over, getting more damage off, crippling them. Honestly, the flow for this game is just extraordinary. I really enjoy it. It's teetered to those who just want to get in and just slap some fellows around, you know? You just press an R1. That's it. So next we'll talk about the world design. We're here in Central Yarm? How do you say this place? I don't know, man. I don't speak English. I do. I'm just bad at this. Central Yarm. Yeah, we're here in Central Yarm pretty much. And from the get-go, it's like, what the heck? Am I in England? Where am I? Right? It's all dirty. It's gross. I'm just lying. British people are not gross, okay? But damn, fellas be wild out here. The town, wild. Look at these carriages. What are they doing, man? Who left them out here? Where's the horses? So many dead corpses everywhere. Gross. But honestly, aesthetically, it's very pleasing. I like this place. This place is cool. Just going through the streets of like a city and then just having this massive outbreak and you're just here trying to do your best getting through. There's so much world building in this place. It is essentially a little bit like Dark Souls 1 where everything is connected. There is a gate near the clinic where we first get out that is closed. Later on in the game, you'll be able to go up this ladder and then somehow end up back in the city. You'll end up back here, pull that lever, and you're just like, holy crap, the world's connected. Awesome, very cool. Essentially, this game is just a massive map like Dark Souls 1. It's very interesting to see how everything just interconnects. there's just little hints within this game to further insinuate that you're just not going to different areas. It's all still connected, just huge different parts of this world that you're in. It's massive city. It's awesome. It's really cool. I just enjoy the world building that they do here. This game specifically, as well as Dark Souls 1, just nail it right in the head with how massive and complex, these worlds are, and we're just in it. We're just here to do our thing. Later on, there are some set pieces that are, they're alright. Poison swamps are always a thing. We got forests here and there, bigger castles, we also have like stinky sewers. Ew. If you played this game before, you'll understand that like not everything stays the same, and I have mentioned before, like you can change the world essentially with what you do and how you respond to certain NPCs. This game is no exception. Throughout the course of the game, the setting and atmosphere change entirely. You always just get this different feel for this game. It's amazing. I really like how the world building is, and would say, dude, you can get lost in the sauce. I enjoy it a lot. The fellas here, they just say, get away, get away. The dark spawn, whatever. It's your fault. Who are you? Why you dressed like that? Never seen you before. Racism thrown across the street. They're calling you names and stuff. It's crazy. But they add to the world, and I think the enemies here, they're funny. You guys are awesome. They're all interesting. Some of them you can tell that are in the midst of transforming to a beast because, again, lore stuff. The blood of the beast is taking them crazy, man. They're all started. But yeah. Aside from just the normal enemies that we have here, the funny crow, big guy that's always racist towards you or something like that, we do have NPCs that are just chilling about, having their own awful time throughout this hunt. You can knock on the doors that have lamps, red lamps specifically, and you'll be able to communicate with those fellas. They'll give you some tidbits on where to go, what they're feeling, and how they also hate you because you're knocking on the door during this awful time. But yeah, essentially they just build the world a little bit more to give you this sense of all this terrible stuff is just happening. All these people are just going mad. There's this NPC specifically that will give you a box, a music box specifically, and this NPC, she tells you pretty much to find her mother. Her father has gone out for the hunt, and usually when he comes back, he has a tendency to forget everything, but they'll play this music box and he'll start remembering them. It's so far you're like, oh man, that's pretty crazy. That's a little spooky. So, you as a player going through this entire world, you have this music box in your possession, and you're thinking about it. You're thinking about how families are doing, how their father became a hunter so he can protect his family, stop this hunt. It's crazy. You think about the characters that are living through this world, and you're just surprised how everyone is just going through it. There are other hunters out there as well that we meet, people with their own stories, their own ambitions, and it really sets the tone of this location. It sets the tone of this game that, not everyone can be saved, and it's just unfortunate that when we do find her father and her mother, it's already too late. It's pretty crazy. It ends up being the beast we have to hunt. He ends up turning. But what's cool about it though, this is also just going to probably tie in with gameplay a little bit. Although this is like world building, gives the world character, it is also a gameplay mechanic. I said the music box you can use for this boss specifically, depending on how many times you use it, you can use it a total of 3 times, but if you use it twice before the transformation, because he does have a second phase, the music box will stun him. But if used a 3rd time, he'll transition into his second phase immediately. So it is interesting in that aspect where, it has lore implications with the music box, but also gameplay implications. It can either help or hinder you in any way depending on how you use it. It's really cool. This game is really nice with that. How you play this game is going to be different from everyone else, and also how you perceive it is going to be different. So the way I see it, it's just a really neat tool to use. But yeah, The world's massive. I would say try to play this game if possible. It's crazy. It's amazing. But we do gotta talk about this music. We gotta talk about the music. This music's great. Let's talk about the music. So, I mentioned before how I like the Dark Souls music a lot, but I don't find myself listening to it outside. Same thing, alright? Same thing. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you at all. But, this game's music is not bad at all. It is beautiful. I don't know, they just nail it every single time. They just get everyone. They get the orchestra together, and they just do it. They just hit the notes where it hurts, and it hurts in my heart because my heartstrings are being pulled, bro. My mind is being gone. It's beautiful. All right. So, probably gonna show a track. This track right here is pretty iconic when you talk about Bloodborne and its music. The first boss is a good introduction to pretty much everything Bloodborne just shapes itself to be. For this type of genre of music, having this orchestra come in and all that, although, you know, Dark Souls and all the other titles kind of do the same thing, it fits this game the most because, you know, you have this gothic feel in this entire city environment. It's very cool. So we'll do a sample. You know, you just hear it. It's probably not for everyone. It's a good battle theme. It's a pretty good battle theme, but no, it's just, it's pleasant, but I feel like sometimes most of these tracks are overshadowed by, you know, the gameplay itself, the combat, just focusing on dodging, hitting, whatever it be. I do want to warn you though, there's gonna be a lot of screaming. They forgot to nerf the sound of the enemies, bro. They just be yelling. They just be talking. They just be making too much noise. So sometimes you'll just get distracted by these, like, yells from beasts that you just fighting enemies, whatever. It's just, alright, it's just, who cares, right? You know? It's all part of it, you know? The yelling is part of the song. No, I'm joking. But, like I said in my Dark Souls 1, it just amplifies the battle a lot more. You're in it, you're just getting those feels, you're just doing damage, and you're just focusing. And honestly, I feel like for these titles, the music just shines. This type of music they have going on, the orchestra music type of stuff, best suits this game out of the Souls genre, and that's okay. It still hits in every other game. They do really well in all the other games, but for Bloodborne, it just fits it a lot better, you know? That's pretty much me done with my rambling. I'm done talking about it. Next Souls game would probably be, you know, Dark Souls 2. Or I could be weird and just talk about Lies of P. I don't know. Who knows? But try this game out, man. Let me know what you think. Don't let me know what you think. I don't really care. Maybe I do. I don't know. We have goofy fellas here. We have blood that you can eat. You got bullet. It's cool. It's different. I like it. I hope you enjoyed Bloodborne. Try it out. There is PC port coming at some point from the community. You look out for that. That sounds great, right? But I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. There's this grandpa in a chair too. Yeah, you walk up to the grandpa and he's just chilling. He's just like goofing around and whatnot. You know, you're just going through the building and he's just like, "Yo, what up, Gramps? What you doing?" Pulls out a gun and starts shooting you out of nowhere. You're like, "Homie, what are you doing? What are you doing?"